Well over 1,000 people have complained of sexual and other abuse in the military since an inquiry was announced last year by the Defence Minister. But is justice being done for many of the victims? 7:30 has spoken to several who say the answer is no. They're uncertain of what the review will achieve, and as Hayden Cooper reports, some complainants are unhappy with the way it's being run.
It's 15 years since Deborah Needler left the Navy. But even now, she's struck by a gnawing sense of unfulfilled potential, regrets from a career cut short.
It's over. You know, I've gone through all of this and it's over. And you're put back out into Civilian Street going, now what? That's me there.
The Townsville mother of two was a trailblazer. She joined the Navy in 1990 as an eager 17-year-old, part of the first group of female engineers. Her work took her around the world, including war-torn Somalia in '93 as part of the UN peacekeeping mission.
We went, this is going to be hard, but, you know, it's a challenge. I'm young and it's a challenge. And you fight hard for a position and for respect, and you've got to become a very hard person, very thick-skinned person.
But Deborah Needler's world collapsed in 1994 as a 21-year-old based in Sydney.
And while I was out there, a guy that I knew who was in the military, in the Navy, he was a submariner, thought it was okay to rape me. And his words were, I didn't think you'd mind.
And that inquiry will deal with all of the issues.
When the Skype sex scandal broke last year, the minister unleashed a string of inquiries. Deborah Needler's case is one of more than 1,000 submissions to the review of sex abuse in the military by law firm DLA Piper. It's studying cases that go back decades. But as they wait for a final report, advocates for victims are losing patience.
My honest feeling is it's a bit of a head-patting exercise. I mean, I don't understand how these people can sort of make a decision just by reading paper, reading some paper. I mean, it's a person, generally the people can't put their emotions or the way they're feeling on paper, and the person who's reading it can't gauge, how much the person is struggling.
Ginger Bartlett served in the Navy also and made a submission to DLA Piper to highlight a long list of incidents. But she felt the lawyers weren't interested.
They just really isolated a small few incidences that I had noted, and I felt that was not really capturing the full story or the full picture of what I encountered, so I was not happy.
DLA Piper says it can only deal with matters relevant to the terms of reference. Another former Navy officer told 7:30 she pulled out of the process after the law firm replied in writing but got her address wrong.
It's caused me a great deal of stress, and I withdrew my submission because I had no trust in them to handle my confidential information.
I've heard that from a lot of clients and inquiries that they were treated, pretty ordinarily by the people handling the submissions and their paperwork, etc.
Brian Briggs handles compensation claims against defence for rival law firm Slater and Gordon. He says DLA Piper often acts for the government in such cases, opposing claims from victims.
It's a question of what the average punter would perceive. Are they truly an independent law firm when they are normally briefed to oppose claims? Whether or not they're appropriate, well, that's for the government. They've set up the inquiry and appointed that law firm.
DLA Piper has previously said that if any submissions present a conflict of interest due to the firm's past work for defence, they'll be referred to the Defence Force Ombudsman. In each case, deeply traumatic memories are being dredged up.
It's a hard task trying to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life now that they've broken you.
Deborah Needler's rape case never went to court, civilian or military. She was eventually discharged from the Navy in 1997 and ever since has been fighting post-traumatic stress disorder and relying on medication. She went ahead with her submission but has received just one email from DLA Piper.
It was hard. It was very emotional, very hard. You had to tap into, your deepest, darkest secrets and then send it off to them. And then, and I sent off a lot of paperwork to then nothing. There's no responses. There's nothing. You send an email asking questions, you get, you need to seek your independent legal advice. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, what is going on?
DLA Piper is aware of the criticism from victims. It's written to all of them, acknowledging that some haven't been contacted. If you are one of those people, the letter states, we apologise. The firm maintains it is conducting the review in accordance with the terms of reference, and appropriate time has been taken to properly assess and address responses. Just what happens next is not clear. The Minister has received but not released Volume 1 of the report, which assessed how each case was handled by defence. The final version of Volume 2 has been delayed. The Minister won't say if he'll release it or if it will lead to compensation, legal cases or nothing.
I want it open. I want it out there. I want the transparency. So let's see what the taxpayers say about their $7 to $10 million that's been invested in this inquiry and this report, and whether it's going to make any difference.
Is this just, smoke and mirrors to make the military look good, because then they are seen as doing something? Is that what's happening?
And of course, the lingering question is, will this inquiry clean up the military and end a culture of discrimination so clearly experienced by so many?
No, I'm not optimistic. I'd like to think that it will, but I felt from the experience that I had with putting the submission in that it's not going to lead to too much.
There are ones that cross the line, and they're the ones that need to be disciplined, because they need to know it's not allowed. It's not allowed.